Hi Lucille, Davidian here with your 10-minute pre-recorded human design guidance session that you received in our recent giveaway. I'll try to squeeze in as much as possible. Just know that there's more I can share in even what will be shared. Each aspect I'll discuss is multifaceted, so I may only capture some of the facets that I feel are pertinent to share in these moments we have together. I noticed some very interesting dichotomies in your chart, some of which I'll get into in a bit. Others may not transcend from fleeting thoughts in my head. And I want to preface my comments by saying that since I haven't yet had the privilege to get to know you, nor how much personal growth you've had in which some of the things I'll be discussing no longer impact you as much, or how much passenger consciousness you are now able to stabilize within. Let's start with the typical starting point that you're a projector, and one who needs to pay even closer attention to where she is at all times, since not only does your aura type insist that you dwell in places where you're recognized for what you bring to the table, or the bar, whatever the case may be, but you also have an undefined G-center, so where you are plays a dominant role in who you are. You can never afford to stay in the wrong place, a place that has an off vibe to you, because it takes your ideal and aligned trajectory and it turns it into a wheel of suboptimal outcomes that range from meeting the wrong people to being presented with the wrong options to, well, pretty much a Murphy's Law of outcomes, or alphabet of woe. It's most often inconvenient to leave a restaurant as soon as you enter it, and the same goes for a hotel room you finally reach at 2 a.m. after a 14-hour flight, but so much better that inconvenience than deal with the way longer time you'll be dealing with the fallout from sticking around. That is the universe, in a very Saturnian way, saying that if you do not heed this warning that you're in the wrong neck of the woods, you will be disciplined with varying temporal punishment. Could be a shitty evening out, a shitty 6 months, or result in a life event that your ideal trajectory would not have included. Your ideal trajectory, your yellow brick road, is paved from your decisions made based on your strategy and authority. Thank goodness you have emotional authority. That'll at least help a little bit when you feel a quick departure and are forced to tell whoever you're with that you have to get out of there right after you just got there. The vibe may only be a problem for you, but that doesn't matter even a little bit. It will be bad for you to stay there. I strongly suggest you build that into your relationships as a you thing that just needs to be honored, instead of shrinking from the discomfort of having to break the news and just dealing with it. Frog in rapidly boiling water style. Your undefined ego, not feeling good enough and dealing with self-esteem stuff, does not make that easy. Like, what will they think of me if I say that I can't be here? They may not like me anymore. Ignore that voice, Lucille. It's not your voice. You're not here to prove yourself in this life. You have nothing to prove. Of course, a little more self-mastery never hurt anyone, but you found human design, so you're in good shape.
Now, let me backtrack a bit and spit a few bars about your emotional inner authority.
Your inner decision maker mustn't spontaneously jump to conclusions, because you are, at any given time, only given a piece of the bigger picture of whatever important decision you're faced with. And that picture piece is not even close to being big enough to make a decision based off. In fact, it would be off-based. And that picture piece is completely energetically entangled with how you're feeling in that particular juncture and what you're noticing about the whatever it is. All the aspects that resonate to what you're sense feeling.
With your very current particular wave pattern coordinates
at that time. What you can trust in the moment, though, is that when a place feels off to you, it's important to note that that off feeling may fade the longer you stay in it, because you're a great acclimator. You blend into your environment. And that is not a voluntary power, by the way. That is an autonomic phenomenon like breathing. It's just happening without the need of your conscious involvement. Now, being spontaneous is a product of your undefined spleen, and you've probably always had this psychic sense and push to jump into things, and the shit just doesn't work out. Two things about that jump to mind. The first, when you make a fast decision, you pay a price. Cheap or steep, you'll be paying for it, because your way is the slow way. You're emotional. And that means, at the very least, you need to sleep on it. The second, although you're psychic, that power is for others and not to lead and direct your own life. Back to what I was saying about interesting dichotomies of note in your chart. I found it interesting that you're an investigator, which is line 1 of your 1-3 profile, one who likes to get deep into an issue. And you are also quad left in your profile, so you learn with laser beam focus. Yet you have a totally open head, so your attention is very hijackable by others' thoughts, inspirations, anxieties. The key word I give the open head center is delay. The open head is an exceedingly entertaining, thought-provoking center of distraction. It will have you thinking about things that do not progress you further along your ideal trajectory. This is the poppy field in The Wizard of Oz that has the 5 of them lying on their backs and daydreaming their life away. What do you get when you cross a laser-focused investigator with an attention deficit and transitory interests? That's for you to answer. But this is undoubtedly an area of exploration, navigation, and stabilization for you. Sticking with profile for a minute, your line 3 learns through trial and error. So much of your magic and eureka moments in life come from outcomes you did not aim for. Like a scientist trying to make a better glue and instead inventing the cure for removing songs stuck in your head. Happy accidents. So figuring out how to be okay with making mistakes is a doozy, but a definite prerequisite to improving your life. Your success here requires you to cultivate a greater calm, more que sera, sera. Making that even more challenging is your undefined ego not feeling good enough. That in extreme moments has perhaps even bordered on self-hatred and possibly dealing with imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to lead, guide, and direct? You're perfectly fine with no need to improve or prove yourself worthy, and simply saddled with a mind that can be a jerk. But it's a mechanical process that you mustn't take personally. Hear it as chatter and call it out. Don't get carried away on some mental plane bullshit. The challenge is not letting the influx of others' energies move us towards inappropriate action and assuming we're the source of those energies. So in the case of your undefined ego, another aspect of that is not volunteering your energy to help someone or make any other sort of commitment simply because it temporarily makes you feel better about yourself in the moment. Or in the case of your open head center, scrambling to answer burning questions that occur to you. Thoughts arrive vertically. Do not carry them horizontally unless they deserve to be carried forward. Thoughts arrive. That's what they do. Just be sure via your strategy and authority that you let the right one in, or it'll suck you dry in your efforts to quench your curiosity or related anxiety. If you haven't already, start seeing these swirling thoughts as a mechanical phenomenon, an artifact of your design, and don't make it personal. Witness it without letting it oppress you. You have an entire protocol and heads-up display that inform you what is worth acting upon and what is junk mail. Strategy and authority. Rinse, repeat. Chop wood, carry water. Gate 48 is the gate of depth, and you have lots of it. Not feeling ready. Not feeling you have enough depth, when in actual fact, you probably know more than lots of people you see on stage without the stage fright hang-up, if you have one. That Gate 48 is what has you collecting certifications and attunements in various modalities, but never feeling like you are ready or ever know enough. It's the fear of inadequacy. And of course, you have your Freak to Genius 4323 channel, which says weird shit sometimes, mixed with brilliant, but you never know what you're going to say or which of the two flavors is going to spill off your tongue. And that wacky, wonderful weapon is always loaded. So that can also cause you some concern. Like if you speak on stage, you're likely to say anything and they may not get you, and that will be awful. The trick for you here is to really, really know your topic and then be present to what the moment demands and be invited to share whatever it is, of course, per your projector aura type, but reading straight from the page or going right off the script
ain't gonna cut the mustard, Lucille.
Let your 4323 commandeer your tongue. So write your monologue, know your topic, and then put the paper down and let your 4323 do the talking. Remember, if you make a mistake, the chances are very great it'll be a happy one. In wrapping up, there are a couple of keynotes that repeat in your chart. One is the word adventurism, and the other is service. In times of struggle, you're being cautioned to remain prudent and avoid risk-taking. This risk-taking is connected to your undefined spleen, or could be, that wants to be spontaneous and wants to feel good, wants to feel safe. And part of feeling safe is making sure you have enough resources. And in times of struggle, you may sometimes be nudged towards risky action actions that rarely, if ever, succeed. And by succeed, I mean are fulfilling. Prudence and caution is called for during these times of struggle. Make sure you sleep on important decisions, despite how jazzed you are about a particular action. As for service, when you use your talents and wealth selflessly for the benefit of others or society at large, you have a lot of power that unlocks. And you have a need to be wanted as well. So I'm just curious if you work with nonprofits or volunteer in your community or for a particular cause. Well, I'm sad to say that's it for today. Well, I hope that helps in whatever way it did or will. Good journey, Lucille.